Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Meditation Millionaire. It's Marianne Padjan here, and you will love my guest today. He is so amazing. I had the pleasure of meeting him in one of my many masterminds. I'm in at least 7 of them, and I'm thinking of doing a few on my own as well. One with women and one with a partner, and maybe another one. We'll see. I love masterminds. They're amazing and they're super helpful. They're the new version of networking. I used to belong to a number of in-person networking groups. And so this is fantastic because we have people all over the world in it. So Lee comes to us from the US, and I'm just going to bring him on here. This is the amazing Lee Grigsby. And hi, Lee. Thank you so much for joining.
Hey, Marianne, how are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much for coming here. And
awesome. I appreciate you having me.
Seriously. I would normally introduce you and read a bio, but I've changed my mind on this one. I'm going to have you introduce yourself.
Awesome. So, I absolutely can do that. Thank you for the opportunity. So I am Lee Grigsby. I'm the founder and head coach of Live All Good Coaching. Right now, I am focusing on working with men to help men heal and understand that they have we are full people. We are whole people, right? For so long, men have to have a certain aspect, whether it's you have to be strong or you're just a provider or you're just one thing. Well, there are many, many aspects to men. So helping men understand that, it's okay to explore your feelings. It's okay to be a whole person. I also have a podcast. I do 3 different series. My one series is called Move the Needle. That is a series where my co-host and I, we bring those difficult conversations to our listeners and viewers, right? A lot of times it's about systemic issues. A lot of times it could be about racial issues. But you know what? We have those difficult conversations so that you can have an informed opinion and you can have information that is credible. And we don't tell you how to feel. We just want you to have an open mind to join the conversation. Another series that I do is called Cruising with the Coaches. That's with another co-host of mine. And a lot of times we have fun in tackling different topics that deal with everyday life. So that's another podcast series that I do. One of the third series that I do is called the Spotlight series. And that actually spotlights businesses or people or anyone who aligns with something that goes along with my coaching, and that's living all good. So I'm also very thankful for Marianne giving me the opportunity to have become an author. One of the most amazing things is to be able to share information with people in a way that they need it. Oh, that's it right there. Yes. I am so thankful for that opportunity. That is, it was an honor and a pleasure to actually have written a chapter in that book. So the self-empowerment reset. I'll just give you a little tidbit. My chapter was about the power of 3. And, a lot of times people think in the terms of the number 3, where the number 3 is very spiritual, right? It can be, as far as Christianity is concerned, that's the Holy Trinity, right? The power of 3, also, when you talk about the pyramids or triangle, right? Well, pyramid has a base, but a triangle has 3 sides, right? You need, it helps balance, right? If you have 2, it's always one or the other. Well, if you have 3, you can kind of stand and everything balances each other. 3 branches of government, on and on and on. Power of 3, right? Well, the power of 3 also shows up in health, where you talk about macronutrients. Well, guess what? The power of 3 shows up there, where it's 3 macronutrients. Talk about proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So I go into that kind of detail in my chapter in Empowerment Reset. Um, but the biggest thing, one of the bigger messages that I like to have people understand is doing something afraid. And so you ask, well, what do you mean do something afraid, right? If I'm afraid, why would I do it? I'm going to stay away from it. Yeah, that's typically true, right?
I love that. I love that. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I love
no. I'm glad that you're here doing it afraid, right? So before I talk about doing it afraid, I will talk about how I came about to do things afraid. So that was actually from the sport of triathlon. Triathlon is swimming, biking, running, and it's all within the same race, right? That's what you got to do. Most of the triathlons are open water swimming, right? So there's a difference between open water swimming and swimming in the pool. In the pool is a comfort zone, because the comfort zone, you could touch the bottom, you got the sides, you can see the water. Well, hopefully you're in a pool, you can see the water. If you're in a pool that you can't see the water, we'll talk about that later. But that's a joke.
if you the water, we're in big trouble.
If you're in a pool that you can't see the water, I would just advise you to get out the pool. But with open water swimming, it is out of your comfort zone, right? Because you can't touch the bottom typically, and it's about you making it through that body of water, whatever it is. So when I did my first triathlon in 2017, I trained in a pool for 6 months because you have to swim a certain distance. The distance for my first triathlon was 750 meters. For my non-metric folks, that's about a half mile. Okay. So again, think about that comfort zone in the pool. Well, when you get to wherever you're going to do this triathlon, I couldn't see the bottom. The water was calm, but I couldn't see the bottom. Okay, so it's not like you're in the Caribbean, not like you're on vacation where it's just this crystal clear water. That's not it. So when we get to the day of the race, I have anxiety about doing this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go out and around in this course. Well, the difference with swimming opposed to any other activity, we're human, so you have to think about breathing, right? You have to breathe. That's kind of important.
Meditation too, right?
And
throughout the day, kinda, and the
night. Breathing. It's something that we do. We need.
It is.
When you're in the water, guess what? You have to hold your breath. Like if you try to breathe the water, that might be a problem.
And you got to act like a fish.
Yeah, man.
You got to act like the environment that you're in.
And that might not work well for you. So the first triathlon, I come to the edge and, we're about to start. And so I jump in. Like, okay, Lee, you do this. We have to wait till the start, treading water. And here's a secret thing that most people don't know. I don't believe in coincidence. So out of there's like 40 people in my wave that are about to start. We all have the same color cap. There's a young guy who jumps in that was next to me, did not have the same color cap. Keep that in mind. All right. So again, I don't believe in coincidence. So we're treading water. Water's a little cold. This guy all of a sudden says, hey, I'm starting to panic, man. I can't do this. Can I borrow your arm? Next thing I know, the guy's on my arm. I did not say, yes, you can use my arm, but he's on my arm. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we're struggling.
Something else.
And he's getting a little bit more panicky. And now he's on my shoulder. He ends up being on my back.
Wow.
So I'm treading water for 2 people and I go under. Oh. And I go under. And this feels like, while I'm going through it, it feels like forever, right? Because I'm like, first of all, I was there with a buddy. He was already on the course. I'm like, my buddy's not going to know that I drowned. Then I'm thinking, wait, My wife and daughter are coming to watch me. They're not going to know I drowned. No one's going to know what happened. Right? Come back up. The guy's still panicking. He's on my back. Okay. I go under again. Finally, he let go. Okay. And again, so I come back up and I'm still treading water. And I look back to the start and tell the people, hey, you got to get in and get this guy because he's panicking. Right. And they're like, yeah, yep, we see him. They dive in. They take him out. We still had 30 seconds before the race started. Yeah, this was all going on before I even started my first triathlon. Anyhow, clearly you see how it ended because I'm here talking to you. So the point of that story was
Wow.
Well, I finished. And I'll tell you, Marianne, here's the point of it, because I had trained, and we all have an expiration date, right? We all have an expiration date. Let's be clear about that.
Oh, yeah.
I was guaranteed that my expiration date was not that day in that way. Not at all. I was not leaving that day. I had done too much work to do that race. That was not going to be the end of me that day. Now, I was exhausted, but clearly I finished the swim, did the bike, did the run. Now, I want to share this too, right? At the end of it, they have food and everything. So there's an older couple who does triathlons, and I was telling my buddy, my wife, that like telling them the story. They were like, the old couple was sitting there listening, and they were like, "So, how do you feel?" And I was like, "It was scary." And they were like, "So, are you going to do another one?" I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah, I almost drowned in this one. Hopefully, in the next one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like that point is, I learned to do things afraid, right? If you have anxiety about it, if you are unsure, jump in. And guess what? You plan to swim to the next buoy or tread water, whatever it is. Jump in. You will be able to figure it out. You have done enough work that you will figure it out.
Wow, Lee, that's an amazing story. That's quite something. And talk about,
it was definitely hair raising.
Staying positive and having that vision and just, hanging out with that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, now, obviously, when I think about it, yes, I could have drowned, right? Like legitimately could have drowned.
Yeah.
But that is, it is one of the things that I tell clients, I tell people, if fear, so I want to jump into this one, right? Fear doesn't really exist.
That's right.
Fear lives in the future. Mm-hmm. Fear is something that we bring from our past because of past experiences. We bring it into the present and we start making up stories about what's going to happen because of what happened before. But then because we're making up the stories and trying to live in what happened before in the present, we are afraid of what has not happened yet.
Perfect.
So fear, thank you. Fear doesn't exist, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I still do that too, right? You're like, oh yeah, we're human. So
we do it. We have to. We're, absolutely. I firmly believe we're spiritual beings playing the human game. That's what I live with. That's what I live by. That's what I believe. That's how I feel. And I'm not changing that. And
we can't get away from that. That's just, it's what it is.
Yes. I even wrote a book on, the perfect time is now. It's part of my self-empowerment reset group of books. The one that you're in is actually my third book in that series. It's my overall fifth book for me. But this one here is on the perfect time is now. So people constantly wait for perfectionism of some sort. When this happens, then I'll do it. When this happens, then I'll do it. Then I'll go do this. And when I'm 60, I'll go, no, do it now.
Yeah. Or if I get a certain level of certification, then I'll be a coach. Or or if I get enough money, then I can do that. Yeah, man. Like, no, you're so right. Do it now. Be present. Right. And who cares? Who cares about what happened in the past? Because you know what? It's over. It's done.
That's right.
It's not happening again.
That's right.
but we keep stuck in the past, man.
That's
And
right.
when you drag it into your present, it doesn't work.
It
It
doesn't
just
matter
weighs on you.
furniture.
Yeah.
It's like a big ugly couch that you or a sofa that you brought in and nothing matches anything.
Right.
It's like, what
It,
are you doing?
let it go. Get rid. Now, I won't say give your baggage to someone else. I mean, we do, but no. But yeah, let it go. Get rid of it. Toss it out, man.
Toss it out,
Be
man.
present.
What are you doing? and also that perception of time, I need to do this, then I can go do that. If I do this for I don't know how many days and years and I don't know whatever, and it's like, no,
Absolutely.
do it now. Do the
Well,
next. Just do
you
it.
know what we talked about? We talked about expiration date, right? We all have an expiration date. Guess what? Tomorrow ain't never promised. So if I'll do it tomorrow. Why? Is it something that you can do today? Do it today.
Right.
And then you'll be surprised about what you want to do tomorrow.
Even if you had like no coaching experience or coaching certifications or whatever, you just did a triathlon and you carried a guy on your back and you almost drowned. I want you as my coach.
Right.
Triathlon, I want you as my coach.
Right.
I don't really care about certifications. I had a very long conversation yesterday within my real estate career with someone who has a great deal of certification, but it took me 3 hours to get the idea through that he would understand. And I was just like, oh my gosh,
well, now see, certifications, what certifications show is that you took a certain amount of time to learn a certain amount of information, and that is proof that you took those hours, those weeks in order to get that knowledge. So yes, certifications, they can mean something. It means you dedicated time to learning certain knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. What we're saying, right, Marianne, would you agree that here's the point? You don't need certification to tell your story. You don't need certification to inspire somebody, right? You don't need certification. How did you know? Question for you, actually. How did you know you were qualified to write a book?
Oh, I actually didn't. My coach, I was terrified. I'm not going to lie. It was like the first time I ever did a podcast, I was terrified. And I'm going, you want me to write a book? And he goes, what's your favorite thing to talk about and to do?
Exactly.
And I go, meditation. And he goes, meditation? He goes, you write a chapter on meditation. So I started by writing a chapter for an anthology, compilation book.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, I can do this. And I'm like, holy smoke, I can do this. And then holy smoke, I just did this. And holy smoke, I went international bestseller. What happened?
Absolutely. So you got whiplash from it, right? But here's the thing. You did something afraid and you stuck with it and you talked about what you knew.
That's right.
So there's no one more certified than you about your experience. No one more certified than you about your life. That's it. That's how it works. And thank you for sharing that, because I know that whiplash feeling like, oh my gosh, I just wrote a chapter. What? But it was about the power of 3. And who knows about the power of 3? I do.
You know what? And I love the number 3 too. I have many courses and things that I charge like 333 for, or 3333 for, or coaching.
Yeah.
Or 33333.
If we can say a perfect number, but obviously it has its own imperfection.
It's a very spiritual number.
It is.
It is for me anyways.
Absolutely. I agree. Me too. People talk about that third eye. Well, that is one of the chakras, but we don't have to go deeply into that, right?
Right.
But that if I'm not mistaken, that's the second chakra?
No, it's the 6th chakra. So it's
6.
The bottom.
Gotcha.
So
I was going the wrong way.
7, and there's 8, and then there's many more. But it's a fun one. It's a fun one when people discover what's inside of that, what comes out. And when you have your own personal, it's almost like having your own personal coach up here and your own personal guidance. system. Not that you shouldn't have a coach, because you totally should, because I have 3 coaches, and
I got 2 myself.
my third chakra is open wide, and I've been using it for a long time, and I trust my intuition. I frequently like getting confirmation, but yeah, I just love that. Like, that's one of my favorite things. So,
and that's the thing, you hit it on the nail on the head. You got to trust it. It's your intuition. You got to, so that little voice that's like, hey, Lee, you can write this chapter, right? Yeah, go and do it. I was like, oh, I can? Okay. Yeah, you got to listen to it.
I can, and you did. And a recipe. So, shameless plug again. Really great.
Self-empowerment. Absolutely.
Self-empowerment reset, healthy living. So I wanted to address the physical side of life. I spend most of my time doing mental and spiritual work, and probably I need a little bit more of a balance with the physical. So I wanted to do something with the physical. And so what we've done is we have all these wonderful authors, and then each author, including the person who did the forward, has donated a recipe in here, a healthy recipe. So I'm gonna just reaffirm this. So I'm not sure if that's like one of my questions that I typically ask my guests is, what indeed is your biggest challenge that I don't know if maybe this one was.
Good question. Yeah.
In your life that you can remember, what was your biggest challenge?
Sure. I would have to say that, like, the triathlon is probably up there, right? One of the biggest challenges was overcoming that, not just that physical, almost drowning experience, but I would probably say one of the most difficult challenges that I've overcome is the difficulty of dealing with death and dealing with grief. That's probably the most difficult challenge I've overcome, only because, we're here on earth and we are physical beings as well. So when we lose somebody, we tend to lean on what we can trust by seeing it, by touching it, right? By hearing it, those senses. Well, and I'm sure Marianne will agree with this. Okay, we all have an expiration date, but you agree that energy cannot be destroyed, right?
Never.
And every time we interact with somebody, and especially our loved ones, that is an exchange of energy also. Right. Now, if it's your loved one, you actually have physical energy from them because you're part of them, right? Although I believe too, we're all connected. But okay, so we know that we have shared energy from our loved ones. So guess what? When they pass, when they die, that is their earthly form, right? Right. Now, I wasn't thinking that 20 some odd years ago when I was faced with that, right?
Right.
But now that I've been through enough of it, unfortunately, but they're not gone. They are just part of me. And all of those different interactions, after you go through the grief process and the many stages of that, right? When you come out on the other side, what you get, the beauty of what you get to do from your loved ones who have passed on, is you get to use that positive energy from any of the positive interactions that you had with them. That becomes part of you. And then you get to share that with the rest of the world by the interactions that you have. And so it's a transfer of energy, and it keeps going. That's generational stuff, right? So yes, I know there's negative things too, but I'm talking about the positive, right?
Yeah, of course.
Once you get through that process of, okay, life is a little different physically. Okay, yeah, I can't call that person, but you can still talk to them and they can still hear you.
That's right.
And if you listen, they might actually talk to you.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Not in the way Marianne and I are talking right now, right? Well,
you can't have possible. A podcast with them, but you could.
You could. But if you listen, they will talk to you. Absolutely.
It's true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
So
so,
that's probably the toughest challenge, I think.
would you say that's your biggest success then? Because that's my next question.
Yeah, then yes,
Are we
it
back to
works.
the triathlon? Because that's a pretty big success story too.
No, I got to go with that one. Yeah, working through understanding what death
Perfect.
really is. Death is a part of life, right?
It is. It is. It really is.
But you miss out on both. So frequently when you've been at someone's funeral, right? And it's funny, ironic that the word fun is in funeral, okay? So when you're at a funeral, and yes, you've gotten through the sad parts, but when you're with the people and you're reminiscing about that person,
It's fun.
there's laughter and there's happiness, and you're cracking up about this and this and this. So like it's part of life. It's a cycle, man. We're not here forever, but here's the takeaway from it. So while you're here, do something with it.
That's right.
Or what do you want to do with it while you're here? How about that? What do you want to do with it? Yeah.
How about that? That brings me to another question.
I love it. I think I read your questions. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's just guiding me into the next one.
Absolutely.
What do you believe is your purpose in life, Lee?
Ooh.
I know this is a big one, right?
That's a good one. If you had asked me that 3 years ago, what my purpose was in life, I would have been like, I don't know. Be a good dad, be a good husband, be a good friend, and generic stuff, right? So let me rewind the clock a little bit. Let's step in the Wayback Machine. And back in my 20s, when I went to college for television production, video production, there was something inside of me at that point that was telling me at some point in your life, you're going to have this message to deliver to the masses. Don't know what the message is. Don't know how I'm going to do it. But I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting into television. Clearly, what better way to reach the masses than in television? So now let's fast forward back to, present time, or at least 2019, 3 years ago, where I stepped into this coaching world, right? And I realized that I have enough life experience to give back to people who are younger than me, well, or to help people who are, stuck in different areas, whatever that is. So I have now realized that my purpose is to help people and give people the safe space to be themselves. That's my purpose. To meet people where they are, give them the safe space to totally explore their whole person, and then help them figure out, what do you want to do with that?
I love that.
That's my purpose.
I totally love that. That's amazing.
I could not have put that into words before today. I don't think I put it into words, actually. So yeah. And I will tell you this. I am continuing to step into and broaden that purpose, So every interaction, we talked about the energy exchange, right? What I'd like to leave people with is, if you are the same person after you have interacted with me, then we need to have another interaction. You can't be the same after you've interacted with me. That doesn't work. I got to do something different, or maybe I'm just not being me.
It's kind of what the definition of a coach should actually be.
I think so.
You should talk to me and you should walk away different in some manner, in the smallest or the largest possible way.
That's right. If you're walking away the same person with the same thought process, with the same patterns, then I haven't done my job. I have not done a good enough job in interacting with you and meeting you where you are. That's just humanity as well. But yes, I do use that in coaching.
Beautiful. I have one more question for you. Well, I have a lot, but we're not going to have time for all that. I have one. What have you not done yet that you would like to do?
Oh,
I know.
All right.
I know it's like 20,000.
Yeah, I got to pick out. Okay, I will tell you one thing that I have not done that I want to do. Well, okay, no, it's two things. Okay, I'll get it extra, but they're related. So the one thing I have not done yet that I want to do is be a public speaker and get up on stage and deliver a message to people while I'm on stage. That's something that I have not done that I want to do. I also want to author a solo book. I have not done that yet, but I want to, and I will.
Who's your publisher?
I don't really know any good ones. Oh, wait. I'll have to. There's a great publisher, Marianne something or
Empowered Voice Publishing. Like
yeah.
Yes, and I think Lee will be in a few more of my books. Okay,
Sure.
so Lee, would you like to just sort of give us your final words, and then also where can people connect with you?
Okay, sure. So one final thought that I'd like to leave everybody with, I think it kind of to bring it back home, it really does revolve around fear and doing things afraid, right? One person on my team says it this way. I've started gathering a little bit of a team that I have yogis and artists on my team, and every time I'm asking them to do something, or I'm saying, "Hey guys, I think we need to do this," start having the vision for the team. This one particular yogi says, "You know what? I didn't believe we'd be here, but I said yes." So when you're thinking about the anxiety and fear or doing something afraid, just say yes. Just say yes. When you say yes, you now open up the door for the opportunity. You all can find me at liveallgood.com. That is my site. You can find me on social media, Lee Grigsby on Facebook, Facebook page of Live All Good Coaching, LLC. Also on Instagram, Live All Good Coaching, LinkedIn, Lee Grigsby. Not difficult to find. You can also, again, find my podcast. I think I'm on Twitter as well. I'm not hard to find, folks.
He's not hard to find, and if you have a problem, talk to me and I'll hook you up with him.
That's right. She can get to me.
Specialty making. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us for another really great show of Meditation Millionaire, and have yourself a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.
15 authors have been guided and united under the influence and illumination of the master who teaches how to become a millionaire through meditation, Marianne Padjan. Her latest book, Self-Empowerment Reset, The Perfect Time Is Now, is creating waves and transforming situations internationally, from adversity to greatness, with critics calling it the most comprehensive handbook for transformation and the perfect guidance for the 2021 cycle of awakening. Purchase a copy of her book on Amazon now to experience the reset you're looking for. Lifestyle. Optimal health. Cycles of regenerative living. We are all seeking the perfect regimen for longevity in a time where the key to a healthy living has never been more important until now. That's why USANA is changing the game. Experience the products that will change the way you enter your ultimate state of perfection. From nutritional supplements to moisturizer, to Nutri-Meals to immune system boosters, prepare to feel the difference as you enter the ultimate state of USANA with